Outrider.
Anand, Bhatt.
Outrider.
Anand, Bhatt.
All over Los Angeles, at least during Grammy weekend, because everyone's like, who is this Skrillex guy? And people are talking about Skrillex like, oh my god, he's the most unique thing he's invented. He's changed how electronic music is, and it's electronic music that you cannot grasp a rhythm to, and anybody who listens to electronic music knows that dubstep has been around for a while, and it didn't originate in the United States, right? There's a dubstep channel on Spotify. If you like Skrillex, you should probably go listen to some dubstep. I mean, that's like saying...
It's like Britney Spears inventing dance music. Or Madonna inventing dance music. That's probably more or less like, it's like giving her credit for doing...
Well, let's face it now, a lot of people listen to this under the age of 30 and they actually think Madonna invented dance music. So let's say, let's do something a little more broad, like you know that the blues music existed because you watch Looney Tunes cartoons. You know blues and jazz existed, so you know very well...
The Black Eyed Keys invented blues.
Exactly. Right?
Nothing the Black Eyed Keys are doing originally. You like
Black
it.
Eyed Keys or Black Keys?
The Black Keys.
The Black Keys.
The Black Keys. There's nothing that the Black Keys are doing that hasn't been done a billion times before.
So you know...
Even White Stripes, for that matter, a lot of the...
White Stripes, there you go.
Same.
Yeah. Al lives in Austin, so he's going to name bands you guys never heard of that he thinks is really popular. Nobody's learned of the Black Keys, unless you're really into indie music. So I don't know who actually plays it. Oh, you know what? Bruno Mars is perfect. That's like saying Bruno Mars invented R&B. You know very well that he did not. And he plays a very old school R&B style, right? But you know very well that Bruno Mars didn't, because R&B has been around and you've heard R&B. But unfortunately, Skrillex can take credit for dubstep because dubstep was pretty underground.
Well, I don't think he took credit for it. I think
it just happens.
I think people put that on him.
Right, and he just doesn't correct them, which is a hard, tough thing to be. If you're homeless one day and you're 24 and all of a sudden people are like, oh my god, dude, you're amazing, you invented this.
Money.
What are you gonna fucking say?
Of course.
What are you gonna say? If I walked up to the guy working behind the counter at McDonald's and be like, Jesus Christ, you invented a hamburger! Oh my god, it's the greatest invention. Here is $17 million. I want you to now run 50 restaurants across the country. This is the greatest invention, just because I'm too stupid to know that this kid didn't invent a hamburger. He was making one because he worked at McDonald's.
Yeah, and I think it's important to interject here to understand why we're kind of belaboring the point, is that apparently Skrillex now has all these deals to produce other records.
He went from homeless to one of the richest kids in America.
Yeah, but he's also hired to basically produce and work with all these popular artists, and he's now a brand, right? So it's different, right? So but going on this, there's something we left out. OK Go did present the awards. That did kind of span over Skrillex, right? And one thing OK Go said was, hey, it's really weird that we're selected to give these awards because when we back 10 years ago, everybody in this room was the industry, right? And with the advent of the internet, that really kind of changed, gave the power to, millions and millions and millions of people, because it's no longer, some producer or executive or engineer making a decision to work with somebody that gets some publicity. Mm-hmm. It's now anybody can go out there and make something, and it's the people that are really allowed to really dictate what things are popular. And there's no better example than that fucking Friday song, right? That Friday. Right. All it was because this girl had this song on YouTube and it blew up, right? Well, OK Go, that's how they made it. They made these really interesting, cool videos that went viral on YouTube, and now they're giving awards out of the Grammys.
But don't get us wrong, there's still gatekeepers and huge barriers to entry. Oh. And it's still heavily boomer controlled, but it's comparatively to 10 years ago, it seems like an open playing field to everyone in the industry, right? Like OK Go is still, has to be pretty contrived and a lot of money to break something like that, right? But comparatively to 10 years ago, OK Go and Skrillex,
well, that's exactly what Skrillex said.
Is out of the box. It helps perpetuate. It's still an illusion that any man can do it. Well, but it's much better 10 years ago.
Well, let's just put it this way, and I think Anand's a little more in the industry than I am. Skrillex would not exist 10 years ago they would not let the kid do it.
Exactly.
They would have stole his idea,
exactly,
right? Or they would have taken like, oh wow, that's how you do it, and they would have produced their own through Rick Rubin,
exactly,
right? And Madonna would or Lady Gaga would have ripped it off. And Skrillex would never get a fucking dime, right? So the Skrillex, when he got the award from OK Go, said, "Look, I was inspired by you guys because guess what? We're very much kin in the fact that if it wasn't for the internet, we wouldn't be here right now." Right. And that is true.
That is very true.
That is very true. And so. So I thought it was so the humbleness, but also making that point, it changed it because it was there was a multitude of people that went up and really kind of in the pre-telecast only mentioned that, man, it wasn't about selling records, it was about the internet and people word of mouth getting music out there so that they could have a career, right? And one of the groups that won was the Civil Wars, or I guess called Civil War. It's a duet team.
They were
kind
awesome.
of country, and they're really good.
They were awesome.
Yeah, and their album's great if you haven't checked it out. But it's really it really is old time music. It's not
totally.
But it has
it's a great name for that band, by the way. Really describes them pretty well.
But it has soul. It's authentic, and they're talented, and it's moving. It's made with some emotion, right? And so they came out and they were like. And here they flat out said, because they won also the pre-telecast, that hey, I thank all those people that went out there and actually ripped the CD and gave it to a friend.
Absolutely.
Because look, we are a van band, we're still indie, we're here, we're nominated, we're surprised we are, and we won, which is even more overwhelming. But we're driving from city to city year long. This guy's got 4 kids and a wife at home that barely see them because and this is something that I try to explain to people. But when Nana and I were in college. Roommates together, we had a friend who was a harmonica player in a band, and he actually had a gold record, right? And he traveled, we jammed with him all the time. It was great, blues jams, whatever. But he was on the road constantly. It was like a 5 or 6 piece band, and his W-2 said $40,000 in a year.
It sucks.
So he sold, gold record, which is that 100,000 records? Gold, what's gold?
Gold is 500,000.
500,000. So 500,000 records, right? Traveling every day away from his girlfriend, right? I think he soon married the girl, and he made $40,000. And so it goes back to the actual bullshit that is actual music industry, because the end of the day is the artists have to hustle, and it's the fat cats that really end up making the money. And it really is the key.
Right. And if you ask the label guys from label perspectives, the artists, no matter how talented they are, cannot break through to the ear. So all those other people are actually artists gets paid in fame and talent, in fame and attention,
right? Not
money. The unfortunate truth, and I'm even saying this as an artist, the unfortunate truth is the industry is everybody else behind us is what makes us money.
Yep.
And that's no matter how great you are, it's your PR folk, to the marketing guy, to the genius doing the studies, and the guy who's footing the millions and billions of dollars it takes to get through American ears. Now, I say American ears because in Europe, people actually, if you're listening to this in Europe, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I listen to music. It's
Spotify.
Different.
I go on Spotify.
It's different in the United States, where nobody has time, energy, or desire to figure out what they like. In America, we don't on our own figure out what we like. We are given options. We are told options. You can choose between A, B, C, and D because we culturally don't.
We're lemmings.
We're lemmings is the blunt way to say it. My polite way of saying is we culturally don't feel like we have time, energy, or desire to have our own opinions. So we would rather somebody tell us what we like, and we feel like we made a choice because we can choose between Chris Brown and Nicki Minaj and the Civil War. So I choose one of those. Therefore, I made a choice.
Right.
It doesn't work that way outside of the U.S. So I know a lot of you guys are in Sweden right now listening to this. And you're like, what are you talking about? That you guys are insane. What kind of Nazi prison camp are you living in? But that's America, right? So,
which is Anand always makes fun of me because I live in Austin, Texas, and that's one of the things where Austin has a scene. It's where you kind of have it where every other city that I've lived in many. Usually what ends up happening is that nobody will motivate to get off their couch to go to a show unless somebody tells them that it's already good, right? It's been vetted, right? Exactly. And in Austin, people just like to get out of the house. Now, granted, it's warmer there, Right. I mean, if you're in New York, if you're in Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, you name any of those, all the major cities, in the north, right? Even Seattle, where it's friggin' raining. Thank God, I can't believe it. Jimi Hendrix had to go to friggin' Britain to make it,
right?
One of the best musicians out of Seattle had to leave the country.
Right.
to be able to get to have the people in Europe say, "Oh, dude, we'll check you out." And then he was a god. Like, he was amazing, right? People saw him. The guy from the Who was like, he saw him play. He's like, "Dude, I'm gonna stop playing guitar." Like, he's that good. And then he did not break in Seattle because in America, getting off your freaking couch when it's raining or it's cold or what the fuck, they don't go out, right?
Here's the truth: music or not, in America, nobody gives a shit about anybody else. That's just who we are, right? We just don't give a shit.
Unless you're a celebrity with royalty.
Unless you've already been told you're American royalty, which is celebrity. We got rid of a king system by leaving.
Tell the story. I like your theory of the whole royalty thing.
We still need a royal family for some reason, so we prop up celebrities. But not even just seeing live shows, which I understand there's a physical pain in the ass. Even in America, we don't even think about this. If you're an American or a Canadian right now, think about this. When was the last time you even bothered to check out something new on a free streaming site? When was the last time you went to last.fm or Spotify or anything and said, or MySpace, which is a free streaming site now, right? Like, and actually said, even when somebody says, "Hey man, check this out," did you actually get off your lazy, pissed off ass and check it out? We don't do it. You're like, "Fuck, dude, I got fucking American Idol to watch," or "I gotta eat this fucking greasy hamburger right now."
It kind of goes, I was about to say, that's a great segue. It goes back to comfort food, right? Most people go back to their comfort where they're comfortable.
Exactly.
And they don't like to go out and necessarily hear
Exactly. So, like, I don't want to hear new music because I've already heard a Nicki Minaj song on the radio 100 times, and that's good enough for me. I'll get Nicki Minaj. I don't care if my best friend, who I respect, says, "Dude, you need to check out this band." I don't feel like clicking. Just think about this. How many times has somebody recommended you just to like a Facebook page? All you have to do is click the word "like," and you actually thrown a tantrum about it. Think about this. I know we've all done it, and I know you've done it. Just think about what a douchebag you are right now. And I'm sorry, we all are just complete pricks, and that's just who we are culturally. And I'm not saying that to talk down to us. That's just who we are, and we need to understand who we are. We are selfish asshole pricks, and that is us as America. I don't give a shit about you. You don't give a shit about me. We are douchebags, and we celebrate the fact that we don't give a fucking shit.
Well, hold on, no, we don't. Eventually, people come bubble to the top and become the royalty. But man, we'd love to lynch them. There's nothing better than Americans to be like, "Oh wow, we used to like you, Tiger Woods, but wow, you cheated on your wife. Cut off your head."
Well, because we're pissed off. Why did you bubble to the top and not me, right? Because we're supposed to be on equal footing. Yes. But that whole bubble to the top, which goes back to the original conversation, is a complete illusion. And why, from a label perspective, artists get paid in that attention. That has monetary value. So if you're making 40 grand a year for doing all that work, you're getting laid. Now, everybody else, nobody knows about, doesn't give a shit about, but nobody bubbles to the top. Everyone, there's a huge amount of money and effort to force somebody into the attention of the American public because it is a closed-off wall. An American mind is a closed-off wall, and the American flag should say "fuck you" on it.
So I'll segue into every year the CEO and president of the Recording Academy comes out and he lectures. Is the right word? He lectures. He gives a speech. Lectures. Both the pre-telecast and the telecast. And what he said is, it's very interesting because it's kind of an interesting segue. Is that, this is the first time I've ever heard. Usually it's like, "Oh, don't use technology. Support your artists by buying their CDs." Usually it's very anti-technology. Well, this is the first time it's like, "Hey, we all know that we need fans, we need our artists, and we need technology. All of us need to work together to figure out a way, because people that do work on this music, right, need to get paid." And I'm all for that, right? The key here is the people that are actually involved, and hopefully, hopefully you don't destroy a Spotify model. Hopefully, things can become better. Where even this is the YouTube concept where you have the OK Go's, where somebody does put some creative art out there. And I was just saying that new OK Go friggin' video is amazing. If you haven't seen it, they take a friggin' Chevy car. They got a sponsor. They get sponsors. Chevy, two music companies, and his Grash, whatever. And they actually did this really cool thing where they drive a car and do a version of their song by miking the car driving around an obstacle course. But that's the kind of stuff where it's, luckily OK Go has very much the marketing PR, like those guys are marketing geniuses. They don't need to hire people to go ahead and do this for them. But most of the artists out there require agents, booking agents, PR folks, marketing folks. They need to have that in order to break through, basically the yawn that is the collective consciousness of Americans and new stuff, right? So